This is May 3rd, 2016. Yep, May 3rd. And tonight's show, we're going to do a spiritual tune-up. Excuse me. We're going to do the curse removal, energy balancing, and we're going to do some planetary healing and light work. And there's some news, of course, that I want to just bring to your attention and touch base on. So please go get some pen and pencils and paper. I've got some numbers that I want you to take down because it's really important that you take some action. And I got the numbers, so there is no excuse. I did the homework for you. So I've talked a lot about what's going on in Flint, Michigan, because actually that's my home state, and about the water crisis there. And I came across this really cool petition. That's like I said, go get your pens and paper. And this is from Michael Moore. Man, I love the guy. He is so cool. So he wrote this from Michael Moore to the Michigan Governor, Rick Schneider. And if you don't understand what's going on in Flint, this explains it really well. Dear Governor Schneider, thanks to you, sir, and the premeditated actions of your administrators, you have effectively poisoned not just some, but apparently all of the children in my hometown of Flint, Michigan. And for that, you have to go to jail. To poison all the children in an historic American city is no small feat. Even international terrorist organizations haven't figured out yet how to do something on a magnitude like this. But you did, Governor Schneider. Your staff and others knew that the water in the Flint River was poison. But you decided that taking over the city and cutting costs to balance the budget was more important than the people's health, not to mention their democratic rights to elect their own leaders. So you cut off the clean, fresh glacial lake water of Lake Huron that the citizens in Flint, including myself, had been drinking for decades, and instead made them drink water from the industrial cesspool we call the Flint River, a body of water where toxins from a dozen General Motors and DuPont factories have been dumped for over 100 years. And then you decided to put a chemical in this water to clean it, which only ended up stripping the lead off of Flint's aging water pipes, placing that lead in the water and sending it straight into people's taps. You're callous and reckless. By the way, reckless doesn't get you a pass. A reckless driver who kills a child still goes to jail. Decision to do this has now, as revealed by the city's top medical facility, caused irreversible brain damage in Flint's children, not to mention other bodily damage to all of Flint's adults. Here's how bad it is. Even General Motors won't let the auto parts they use in building cars touch the Flint water because that water corrodes them. This is a company that won't even fix an ignition switch after they've discovered it's already killed dozens of people. That's how bad the situation is. Even General Motors thinks you're the devil. Maybe you don't understand the science behind this. Lead in water. Now bear with me. This involves a science lesson, and you belong to the anti-science party. The one that believes there's not a climate problem and that Adam and Eve rode on dinosaurs 6,000 years ago. Lead is toxic to the human body. There is no way to fully eliminate it once it's in your system, and children are the most damaged by it. By taking away the city's clean drinking water in order to cut costs and then switching that city's water supply to Flint River water, you have allowed massive unsafe levels of pollutants and lead into the water that travels into everyone's home. Every Flint resident is trapped by this environmental nightmare which you, Governor Rick Snyder, have created. Like any real criminal, when you were confronted with the truth by the EPA and other leading water experts across America, you denied what you did. Even worse, you decided to mock your accusers of their findings. As I said, I know you don't like to believe in a lot of science. After all, you used to run Gateway Computers, and that really is all anyone needs to know about you. But this time, the science has caught up with you, and this time, I hope it's going to convict you. The facts are all there, Mr. Snyder. Every agency involved in this scheme reported directly to you. The children of Flint didn't have a choice as to whether or not they were going to get clean drinking water. But soon it will be your turn to not have that choice about which water you'll be drinking. Because by this time next year, if there is an ounce of justice left in this land, the water you'll be drinking will be served to you from a tap inside Jackson Prison. I'm calling upon my fellow Michiganders and seekers of justice everywhere to petition U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch, asking her to arrest you for corruption and assault. Example, the physical assault you committed against the children of Flint when you knowingly poisoned them. Yesterday, the federal prosecutor in Flint, after many of us had called for months for this action, finally opened up an investigation into the matter. Now we need your arrest, prosecution, and conviction. And who will be cheering on that day when you're fitted with a bright orange jumpsuit? The poor and minority communities of Michigan who've endured your dictatorial firings of their mayors and school boards so you could place your business friends in charge of their mostly black cities. They know you never would have done this to a wealthy white suburb. I welcome all to look at the appalling facts of this case, which have been reported brilliantly and especially by the great Rachel Maddow. Thank you, Rachel, for caring so deeply when the rest of the national television media didn't. I'm asking everyone who agrees with me to sign on to this petition and call for your arrest, Governor Snyder. You are not allowed to run amok in my hometown like you have done. The children whom you have poisoned have to endure a life of pain and lower IQs from your actions. You have destroyed a generation of children, and for that, you must pay. It's time for you to go to prison. Out of mercy, I'll ask that you have in your cell your own personal Gateway computer. Sincerely, Michael Moore, Flint native, Michigan resident, and voter. So for everyone wanting to sign on to the petition calling for the immediate resignation of Governor Snyder and for the FBI to arrest him, how you get to the petition, now you got your pen and paper, it's hashtag ArrestGovSnyder. That's hashtag ARREST, capital GOV, capital S, NYDER. Arrest Governor Snyder. Honest to God, this man needs to go down. Now, as we've talked about what's actually happening in Flint, we also have to talk about what's happening to all the water, and it's our water supplies too, and all the water sources out west. And I've talked about it before, and I'm going to bring it up to your attention now, but the government has allowed, oh my God, there's probably 50,000 closed uranium mines all around the Southwest. And a few of them are actually leaking into the water, into the river streams where the Navajo and the Hopi live, totally contaminating their water supplies. The governor, and if you know anything about uranium, this means that water is now radioactive water, okay? So they can't use it to drink, they can't use it to bathe, they can't use it to put on their water for their crops. Totally contaminated. So what does the government do? The U.S. government. Oh, this is brilliant, right? In a very reptilian, evil way. They sent them water, and they got a truck in water now. But what did they do is they put this water into trucks that was used to haul oil in it. So that water now is contaminated with oil. I mean, we're talking, whoever authorized that needs also to go to prison. So the Dene tribe, and that is, if you don't understand what the Dene tribe is, that's also another word for Navajo. And they are asking for all kinds of help. So if you need, if you want to keep up with what's going on with the Navajo and the Dene tribe, you can go to their website, which is blackmesa.org. Support blackmesa.org, support, SUPPORT, BLACKMESA.org. And you can get more information, and you can sign up for alerts from the Black Mesa's Indigenous support. And you can also volunteer to go stand with them and be an observer and help out with the we call them kapunas, with the elders there. Now, what they're asking for, the Navajo tribe, is they need lawyers. So if you are a lawyer, if you have connections to lawyers, their residents are requesting legal assistance. So we need lots of calls of protest at your local Department of Interior or Bureau of Indian Affairs. And I've got their numbers, which I will give them to you. And also, if you want to donate any funds or money to the Dene tribe, their email is blackmesas, BLACKMESAIS @gmail.com for more information. So when you call the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the Hopi Rangers, and the Department of Interior, you ask they stop impounding sheep on the HPL and stop digging up the plants and the unjust impoundments, and stop the genocide, and let them know that you're watching them so they are no longer invisible. So got your pen and papers handy. The Bureau of Indian Affairs Superintendent is Wendell Honani. That's Honanie at 928-738-2228. Hopi Chairman Herman G. Honani. Yeah, like I said, they must be bros, huh? It's the same spelling, Honanie. His email is HEHONANIE at Hopi, HOPI.NSN.US, and their phone number is 928-734-3102. Now you've got the Hopi Rangers, Clayton Honyumptwa. That's HONYUMPTEWA at 928-734-3601. And we have the Department of Interior, 602-379-6600. So again, they want you to ask that they stop impounding sheep, they stop tearing up all the native food that they live off the land on, and they stop the genocide and that they're being seen. So now we have the Arizona State Office, and this is Bureau of Land Management. You know, these guys are, oh my God. And again, the Hopi and the Navajo are in Arizona. So take this down. There's a lot of offices. Colorado River District, 928-505-1200, District Manager Roxy Trost, Trost. Hasayampa Field Office, 623-580-5500. And of course, you have their state director, Raymond Suazo, and his number is 602-417-9200. Now, today in Cheyenne, Wyoming, the Bureau of Land Management is auctioning off more than 100,000 acres of public lands to the fossil fuel industry at rock-bottom prices to drill and frack for private profit. Boy, we're talking, they've got a big bed, don't they? And they are all in it. Now, Wyoming residents and their allies are rallying at the auction site to say, our lands are not for sale. Our health is not for sale. Our climate is not for sale. Keep fossil fuels in the ground. So stand with them and call the BLM to say, stop giving away our public lands to the fossil fuel industry. Who exactly is profiting from these corporate giveaways? Well, the largest leaseholder in Wyoming is little-known Anadarko, the worst corporation you've ever heard of. I have to say they're probably right up there with Monsanto, okay? They have a long track record of recklessness and corruption, consistently violating environmental regulations, committing human rights abuses, cheating taxpayers, and actively working against the democratic process. 2 years ago, Anadarko was hit with the second biggest environmental fine in history, $5.15 billion, to remediate dozens of sites across the country and compensate over 7,000 people dealing with the effects of toxic contamination, including almost $1 billion to address drinking water and health impacts on the Navajo Nation. Then they had the nerve to tout a $550 million tax write-off from the settlement. Corporations like Anadarko rake in the profits. Our communities and the climate pay the price. The system is broken. So call the Bureau of Land Management to say, end it. On Earth Day just 2 weeks ago, Secretary of State John Kerry signed the Paris Climate Agreement reaffirming the United States' commitment to stop global warming before it hits 1.5 degrees Celsius. That's absolutely crucial for the planet and the people on the front lines of climate change, but it will require keeping the vast majority of known fossil fuels reserves in the ground. Meanwhile, judging from today's auction in Cheyenne, it's just business as usual. The U.S. government continues to aid and abet fossil fuel companies like Anadarko, drilling and fracking, while the window to stop the worst effects of climate change is quickly slamming shut. But the Keep It in the Ground movement is fighting back. And I'm so grateful to the activists rising up in Wyoming today So stand with them by calling BLM to say, it's time to keep fossil fuels in the ground of our public lands and stop the genocide of the Navajo. So now all BLM Wyoming office hours are 7:45 to 4:30 p.m., Monday through Friday. And the state office public room hours are 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. Boy, that's like banker's hours, huh? So the state office of the Bureau of Land and Management, the state director is Mary Jo Rugwell. And their address is, if you feel you want to write, it's P.O. Box 1828, Cheyenne, Wyoming, 82003-1828. Their phone number is 307-775-6256. So we've got the Chief Office of Communications, Kristen Lenhart, 307-775-6015. And the Acting Deputy State Director of Minerals and Lands, Michael Madrid. His phone number is 307-775-6148. I'll give you his fax number too. 307-775-6203. Boy, I'll tell you, that is just like reptilian logic. And that skull and bones logic is you say one thing and you actually mean the opposite of what you're speaking. Now, Washington actually has, of course, a Bureau of Land Management. So take his and their names and information down. So the director is Neil Kornze, Kornze. And their phone number is 202-208-3808. You know, enough is enough. Enough of our selling off of our lands. You know, they're giving it. They're not selling it. They're giving it away to their cronies. All right, so now just to balance it out, I've got a really fun story that it really brought joy to my heart. And of course, some people are saying, oh my God, this is just a fluke. And of course, it didn't happen. But if you've listened to my show and if you listen to some of the power prayers and the energy work that I've written, and I invite the elemental kingdom to come in and get involved, to make nests and do what they have to do in the computers or anything electrical, especially if there's a machine out there that is doing harm and it's not for the highest good of humanity, to break the sucker down. So when I come across this article, I just, oh my God, it just gave me warm fuzzies, okay? Now, are you ready for this? It says, weasel. Yeah, the little weasel, the animal, apparently shuts down world's most powerful particle collider. And if you've also listened to my show, then you know we've done a lot of energy work on this collider. So this was heard on All Things Considered. This was national news, guys. A small mammal has sabotaged the world's most powerful scientific instrument. The Large Hadron Collider, a 17-mile superconducting machine designed to smash protons together at close to the speed of light, went offline overnight. Engineers investigating the mishap found the charred remains of a furry creature near a gnawed-through power cable. We had electrical problems, and we are pretty sure this was caused by a small animal, says Arnaud Massolier, head of press for CERN, the organization that runs the 7 billion particle collider in Switzerland. Although they have not conducted a thorough analysis of the remains, Massolier says they believe the creature was a weasel. The shutdown comes as the LHC was preparing to collect new data. But, you know, we really don't know what they're doing or what their doors they're trying to open to different dimensions. Now, unfortunately, now everybody go, oh. Marsolais says scientists will have to wait while workers bring the machine back online. Repairs will take a few days, but getting the machine fully ready to smash might take another week or two. It may be mid-May, he says. Now, these sort of mishaps are not unheard of, said Marsolais. The LHC is located outside of Geneva. We are in the countryside, and of course, we have wild animals everywhere. There have been previous incidents, including one in 2009, when a bird is believed to have dropped a baguette. Now, I'm not sure if he meant drop a pile of crap or actually dropped a breadcrumb, okay, onto critical electrical systems, but whatever it was, it took it out. Nor are the problems exclusive to the LHC. In 2006, raccoons conducted a coordinated attack on a particle accelerator in Illinois. It's unclear whether the animals are trying to stop humanity from unlocking the secrets of the universe. And of course, small mammals cause problems in all sorts of organizations. Yesterday, a group of children took National Public Radio off the air for over a minute before engineers could restore the broadcast. So thank you, National Public Radio, for bringing that to our attention. Now, it's stuff like this that I call confirmation, that Spirit gives you to show you that what you are doing is actually working. Now, everybody knows that I talk a lot about what's going on in Fukushima and the nuclear accident that's happened in 5 years ago. It's been going a long, long time. It hasn't stopped. You know, if you think you're getting away from the radiation, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And if you pay attention to the news, you've heard of, I'm sure, of all these animals die-offs. And I'm not talking about onesies or twosies, but I'm talking about hundreds and thousands at a time are coming up dead. Well, you know, at one time I really used to think, okay, maybe it's Fukushima and it's killing off all those birds. But if you really think about it, that's not very logical either. You know, Fukushima is going to take out all these starlings at one time because they've just, you know, had enough. Maybe one or two are going to stop, you know, maybe drop dead, but not all as one group. So let's bring up and bring into the light some sleaze bags that are out there that really don't want you to know what they're doing. And they would rather have you think of all this is going on because it's Fukushima's fault. Well, it's not. I would say this belongs to the U.S. military's willful slaughter of life, not only in the Pacific Ocean, but all over the world. Now, the United States military has become a runaway juggernaut of environmental devastation and destruction, from the global climate engineering assault that is poisoning the entire planet and ripping Earth's climate and life support systems apart, to the insane, blatant, and willful slaughter of ocean life. The actions of our military are truly beyond rational comprehension, though many have chosen to primarily blame Fukushima fallout for the shocking North America West Coast marine life collapse. There is much more to the story. Now, how bad is the die-off? The recent headlines below should be a stark wake-up call. Dead animals litter California beaches. Alarming phenomenon. Graveyard of washed-up sea life. Influx of malnourished sea creatures. Experts were really starting to worry. Duh. The animals are starving to death, covered in sores, stunted growth, weak immune systems. As Pacific sardine collapse worsens, scientists worry about ecosystem ripple. Scientists, West Coast bird die-off. is biggest ever recorded. Stomachs completely empty, staggering, alarming, unheard of, never seen anything like it. Unprecedented in size, scope, and duration. Deaths could reach many hundreds of thousands. Mind-blowing die-off in Pacific, far worse than anything ever seen before. Expert, alarm over what's happening in ocean. Deaths puzzling government scientists. Well, we know they're backwards to begin with. I've never heard of such a thing anywhere in the world. Reports, beaches full of bodies, countless carcasses. Collapse of kelp forest imperils North Coast ocean ecosystem. Now, what part has the U.S. military likely played in the unfolding catastrophe die-off? The truth is beyond shocking. The important experts below are from a just released report from the West Coast Action Alliance. Pacific Ocean, September 15th, 2014. The Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer, USS Stetham, DDG-63, fires a Harpoon missile during a sinking exercise as part of Valiant Shield 2014. Air and Sea units from the U.S. Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force participated in the sinking exercise of the ex-USS Fresno. The West Coast Action Alliance examined the Navy's Northwest Training and Testing, EIS, Environmental Impact Statement, and the letters of authorization for incidental takes of marine mammals issued by NOAA, National Marine Fishery Service. We found some startling numbers. These numbers apply to the coastal waters of Northern California, Oregon, Washington, and Southeast Alaska, as well as inland waters, including the San Juan Islands. First, a comparison of baseline to proposed numbers of activities listed in October 2015. Environmental impact statements revealed the following. 72% increase in electronic warfare operations. This is just from the Navy, guys. 50% increase in explosive ordnance disposal in Crescent Harbor and Hood Canal. 244% increase in air combat maneuvers, dogfighting. 400% increase in air-to-surface missile exercising, including Olympic National Marine Sanctuary. 400% increase in helicopter tracking exercises. 778% increase in numbers of torpedoes in inland waters. 3,500% increase in number of sono buoys. From none to 284 sonar testing events in inland waters. From none to 286 maritime security operations using 1,320 small caliber rounds, blanks, in Hood Canal, Debab Bay, Puget Sound, and Strait of Juan de Fuca. 72% increase in chaff dropped from aircraft. Now, this contains tiny glass fibers and more than a dozen metals. 1,150% increase in drone aircraft. 1,150% increase in drone surface missile vehicles. 1,450% increase in expendable devices, and these are just a few. Further ongoing military exercises, including on North America's West Coast, include 2 ship sinking exercises each year with 24 bombs, 22 missiles, 80 large caliber rounds, and 2 heavyweight high explosive torpedoes. 30 air-to-surface bombing exercises, including in the Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary, 160 gunnery exercises with small, medium, large caliber rounds, missiles, and high explosive warheads offshore, includes Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary. You get it? They go right to the sanctuaries. An active duty naval pilot confided that fuel dumping incidents occur more often than the public realizes. They happen about once a month. Now, a take is a form of harm ranging from disturbance to injury to death. Now, under the Marine Mammal Protection Act, There are two classifications called level A and level B. Level B is mostly harassment, and level A is injury or death. Most takes allowed are in the harassment category, but harassment causes behavior changes such as abandonment of feeding, nursing, and migration habitat. If a marine mammal that relies on echolocation to find food can't hear, it has to work harder to feed itself. If it can't take in extra food, it loses weight. A study on the increases in metabolism in bottlenose dolphins show that after the animals had to work harder to find food or be heard, it took another 7 minutes per episode for oxygen consumption to return to normal levels. That translates eventually to starvation if they cannot find enough food to make up the difference. The problem with level A harassment is in documenting injuries or deaths. Frequent mass strandings have occurred days after naval activity in an area, but in nearly every case, the Navy disavows being the cause. They do not allow Federal Wildlife Agency exports on board their ships because of security concerns about civilians. Now, however, civilian fitness instructors are found on many Navy ships. None of the mitigation measures require the Navy to tow hydrophones to listen for marine animals before commencing exercises. The Navy's technology for observing whether marine mammals are present is the same that has been used since the 17th century. 2 lookouts at the bow of the ship. Now, how can the military machine be so completely out of control? Because so far the U.S. population as a whole does not want to be bothered with uncomfortable or depressing news and information, because so far most are not at all interested in showing some responsibility toward the greater good by actually investigating what is going on in the world, let alone doing their part to effect positive change. What further details do we have about the U.S. military's ongoing assault against ocean life? Well, this exceptional report from the WCAA continues below. Seal pups are very vulnerable to the harassment of the U.S. military's ongoing naval exercises. The nose threshold for hearing damage in humans is 85 decibels. For every 10 decibel increase, the intensity of the noise increases by a factor of 10. Therefore, 150 decibel noise, which is roughly what a growler jet makes when passing overhead at an altitude of 1,000 feet, is 1,000 times louder than the 85 decibel threshold for human hearing damage. Now, Navy sonar is capable of at least 235 decibels at the source. This is over 10 trillion times more intense than the 85 decibel threshold. Let me repeat that. That is over 10 trillion times more intense than the 85 decibel threshold. At a distance of 300 miles away from the source, underwater noise can still be at 140 decibels. 140 decibels is sufficient to vibrate and rupture internal organs and has been assessed by the French government as a weapon to kill people. Now, humpback feeding in migration areas, now what does that mean? Since the Navy is positioning its ships in whale migration routes and feeding areas without regard to peak times of use for the animals, means the animals will continue to work harder and to lose weight if they can't find enough to eat, which is already exacerbated by climate change and decreasing abundance of their food. Since 30 large whales washed up on Alaskan beaches last summer in what NOAA called an unusual mortality event, and since it was during the time Navy ships were up there conducting Operation North Edge, sonar and bombing exercise, and since every single dead whale was also emaciated, one has to wonder who in their right mind wouldn't take steps to reduce harassment of already stressed animals. I can answer that. Insane reptilians, psychopaths. Now, whale deaths are now common among the North American West Coast. Isn't it any wonder why? Here are the take numbers from the Northwest Training and Testing EIS for just the waters from Northern California to Southwest Alaska, including Puget Sound and other inland waters. And this is really, really sad. All right. The number of whale deaths, tooth and baleen, 18,921. Dolphins and porpoises, 843,465. Seals and sea lions, 364,538. And that's over 1,226,000. Remember, these numbers do not include takes to endangered and threatened seabirds, fish, sea turtles, or terrestrial species impacted by Navy activities, using sonar, explosives, underwater and surface drones, sonobuoys, ships, submarines, aircrafts, or troops training on 68 beaches and state parks in western Washington. The numbers also do not include takes for smaller projects such as underwater detonation exercises and or pile driving and construction at Port Angeles, Bremerton, Everett, Kitsap, or Whidbey Bay Island, nor does it include impacts from sonar and other acoustic devices at the Keyport Range complex expansion or any impacts brushed over in dozens of environmental assessments that split the projects into smaller pieces so they don't raise to the threshold of a full-blown EIS. With regard to the 72% increase in chafe, the EIS says it is typically packaged in cylinders approximately 6 inches by 1.5 inches, weighing about 5 ounces and containing a few million fibers. Chafes may be deployed from an aircraft or may be launched from a surface vessel. The chafe fibers are approximately the thickness of a human hair and range in length from 0.3 to 2 inches to 0.8 to 5.1 centimeters. The major components of the chafe's glass fibers and the aluminum coating are aluminum, boron oxide, sodium oxide, potassium oxide, copper, manganese, silicone, iron, zinc, vanadium, titanium, and other metals. In 1997, Air Force study reviewed the potential impacts of chafe inhalation on humans, livestock, and other animals and concluded that the fibers are too large to be inhaled into the lungs. I mean, these guys are insane and are not smoking good dope at all. You know, they're smoking bad crack. Now, they said it's too large to be inhaled into the lungs. Now, whose lungs? A fiber the thickness of a human hair is certainly inhalable by human beings, even children. And what about marine mammals with upturned and very large breathing holes? The fibers, said the study, were predicted to be deposited in the nose, mouth, or trachea, either swallowed or expelled. Has the public been made aware of the effects of chafe ingestion? Is chafe inhalation or ingestion by marine animals considered a taking? Not that we could say. Chafe being dropped from a jet fighter, and chafe is often accompanied by flares. Now, the West Coast Action Alliance noticed some discrepancies amongst the letters of authorization issued by NOAA to the Navy for takes. For example, more than 133,000 takes for bottlenose dolphins off the Northern California, Oregon, Washington coast were not listed in the letters of authorization for the Northwest Training and Testing EIS. They were in the letters of authorization for Hawaii and southern tip of California. Now, why? We don't know, but the omission certainly helped to reduce the appearance of large numbers of marine mammal takes in the Northwest trade area. Curious, we looked at the letters of authorization for 4 EISs done in 4 regions of the North Pacific: the Gulf of Alaska, the Pacific Northwest coast, Hawaii and Southern California, and the Mariana Islands. What we found was shocking. Now, the gray whale, when you consider, for example, that the best estimate for the number of gray whales in the eastern North Pacific is 21,000, and that they migrate up and down the west coast from Alaska to Mexico, but that the number of takes allowed to the Navy in the areas of the Pacific where gray whales might be found is 60,000. It becomes clear that multiple harassment incidents to the same animals throughout their range are not only anticipated, but allowed. Now, where gray whales are found, the WCAA also found it interesting and disturbing that neither sonar bombing, explosives, nor any military activity whatsoever is included on NOAA's list of threats caused by human impacts. Now, why, when this much harm is being done on such a scale? Takes by species, if you add up all the Navy takes of whales, dolphins, porpoises, seals, and sea lions for these 4 regions of the North Pacific, it is nearly 12 million. The Navy prides itself on a concept it calls distributed lethality, the definition of which is the condition gained by increasing the offensive power of individual components of the surface force, like cruisers, destroyers, combat ships, amphibious ships, and logistic ships, and then employing them in dispersed offensive formations known as hunter-killers, surface action group. The Navy has already sent a hunter-killer pack of ships into the Pacific toward Asia, and a clear sign that war games across the globe evidently know no limits to civilians. It's also clear that when it comes to wildlife, the Navy distributes lethality very, very well. The west coast of North America has become the new U.S. military proving grounds, as the South Pacific was for the catastrophic nuclear detonations of the past. The military-industrial complex is completely and totally out of control on every front. In addition to the all-out assault against ocean life outlined above, there are also the ongoing ocean fertilization programs that are very likely utilizing industrial waste for this process. And we should not forget to take into account the historically routine dumping of nuclear waste into the seas by the U.S. military and others. Fracking waste is also routinely being dumped into the West Coast waters. What will be the final consequence of the ongoing global destruction of our oceans by the U.S. military and human activity, I would rather say reptilian activity, including Fukushima as a whole? If the oceans die, we die. From the catastrophic climate engineering destruction to the assault on our seas, the military juggernaut of absolutely insanity is pushing all life on Earth toward mathematically certain near-term total extinction. Cancel clear. If we can fully expose the truth, we will have a chance of changing course. The effort to reach a critical mass of awareness must be borne by us all. Make your voice heard, guys. Again, that's making your voice heard. You can call the White House. And next week I'll get those numbers and the Navy numbers, who to call, and complain. We're going to have to go to the Congress because, the Navy, it's like, leading the wolf in the hen house. They will not police themselves. So remember, when you hear of mass die-offs now, you think of the Navy, you think of the military and what they are doing with energy weapons, with all their, good God. It's not like we're at war. Well, we are at a lot of war. But you would think they would get enough practice being in war without having to destroy our natural resources by playing war games and sinking frigging ships. Unbelievable. So, the second half, we're going to do some energy balancing, the curse removal, and we're going to doing some light work and a little planetary healing circle for the planet. And then I'm going to share also some divine mischief that I want to ask your help into doing. And this is working with the elemental kingdom. And that will be the second half of the show. And again, this is Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. And you guys, we really need your support. If we don't have your donations, we can't be on air. Nobody gets paid for this. So, go to the station's website at Revolution Radio at Freedom's Lips and look at their donation button and press it. And then give something. It all adds up. And as you give, you also receive, and you're also creating space for the universe to give back. And they've got some really groovy products that you can buy, and they've got organic seeds and other things at their store, and it all helps, and we really, really appreciate everything that you have sent in and for helping us stay on the air. So please, for those of you that have taken down those numbers, make some effort. Call. And on that note, we'll be back, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll see you in a short few. Well, aloha, everybody. Welcome back to Cathy Bilsky and the Quantum Leap Let Light Unite show, and this is May 3rd, 2016. And if you want to find out more information on me, you can go to my website at www.angelliteom.com, ANGELITEOM.com. And I have all my healing tools there. They're glow in the dark, and God, they'll last like 100 years. I also have a couple books on there, and one you can download for free. My curse removal, energy balancing is there. Then you can download that for free. And you can also, for that you would look under free healing. And then I'm also on Facebook. Yes, I have a couple of sites on Facebook, and actually you can contact me there. And I put all my power prayers daily on there for everybody to join in and for really light to unite. And also there's coming up in June 21st, we're going to have another go for world enlightenment and see if we can make another quantum leap. And all you have to do for that is chant, "May divine enlightenment descend down around everyone now." That's all you got to do. Just chant that, feel that energy flow down. Now, it's our destiny to go into enlightenment. We've got 25,000 years of peace, but it doesn't mean that we are just supposed to sit around and do nothing. You do have to do a little bit of work for it and put out that intent and really decide that you're going to stand with light and put out that kind of energy. And then you can also catch me on YouTube, and I have all my Revolution Radio shows up on there. And I also have the curse removal that I've done, and of course the soul retrievals I have there if you really want a big energy shift. And that's all free. You can also find me on Twitter and Google Plus and LinkedIn and a couple other places. So the point of me being out there like I'm on radio is to help the world quantum leap into enlightenment. So there is a website set up called Enlightenment Movement 2016 at shutterfly.com. So go there, see what it's all about, join. And again, we put the daily power prayers on it so you can join in. And then there's days on the planet where darkness does a little extra energy work. And on those days, we need to send out more light. And that's also on the website on what those days are. So check it out, join, and let's amplify and take ourselves in to the golden age of enlightenment. Because when we do that, everything else will fall into place. Whatever you are working on, whatever your mission is, your purpose, it will all come together after we are into world enlightenment. Why? Because everybody's connected to the Creator and they know better. What can we say? I mean, really. I mean, it's like a no-brainer. Oh yeah, I almost forgot my store. They have a store in Hawaii. It's on the Big Island in Honoka'a. And there I've got the largest crystal in Hawaii. It's over 1,000 pounds, a smoky quartz celestial earthkeeper. And I also have a 650-pound crystal, and both of them you can touch and you can hug and kind of sit at right next to it and just, think about your own wishes and dreams and see what you can manifest. I have a lot of rock stones and crystals. I have an angel light healing bed you can lay on. I do free mini massages with the angel light tools and the curse removal if people need what I call the deluxe program. And for those that want to go deeper, I also do the soul retrievals. I do them over phone personally, or like I said, I even have it on YouTube. So there's many ways out there that you can get a hold of the shamanic work and move forward. But I mean, really, who wouldn't want to come to Hawaii? What an excuse to come to Hawaii, right? Come see me and then go swim with the dolphins. So before we're going to do the energy balancing and the curse removal, and then we're going to do some light work and planetary healing circle, I want you to do some divine mischief with me tonight. Now, in the Tower of London, there's a raven prophecy. And the prophecy is that when all the ravens leave, the monarchy will fall. Yeah, you heard right. It said when all the ravens leave, the monarchy will fall. So are you thinking what I'm thinking? Let's do some divine mischief, okay? So as one united voice, let's call to the ravens nesting in the Tower of London to please leave the tower, finding better homes elsewhere. And let's call to all the old ancient ancestors that work with the ravens. The angels, the gods and goddesses, the past, present, and future, the divas, the deities for help. We call to Odin, Hafnau, the god of ravens. We call to all the Brahmas that honored the ravens. The Shinto goddess Amaterasu, Saint Cuthbert and Saint Bernard, Helios and Apollo, Athene, Hera, Kronos, triple goddess Morrigan, the Luf, or Lud, the Celtic god of arts and crafts, and all other deities that work with the raven to command the birds to now leave the Tower of London, guiding them to a nicer habitat. So let's cut all ties to whatever drew the ravens to the Tower of London and is keeping them there. We cut ties to all magic the ravens are holding for evil magicians. We cut all ties to death and misery the tower holds. Let us now anchor the violet flame to the Tower of London, transmuting all dark energies and old memories back to light. Let us now anchor and amplify light in the tower and keep raising the energy so the birds feel uncomfortable and leave for a better place. We invoke the fearless spirits of the raven. We thank you for your work, and now it's time to move on to other places that will give you much comfort and protection. You are now free from bondage to the tower and any dark magician. See all the ravens in the Tower of London flying away, fulfilling the prophecy resulting in the fall of the British monarchy. Now see their wealth being redistributed back to the earth in all life forms. And again, nevertheless, not our will, but thy will be done. Take a breath and see, as you exhale, feel all that energy just being released to all those ravens and see them actually leaving the Tower of London. All right, let's do the curse removal and the energy balancing. And to me, this is like a spiritual tune-up. It clears out energy that you no longer need. It gets rid of psychic attacks. It helps you move forward. It's like just a spiritual cleansing. So for those of you who are going to participate, I want you to sit down, put your feet flat on the ground, put your hands up on your lap in an up position like you're going to receive, and sit straight up. And when you're straight up, you're reconnected to the Creator, and all that energy just comes pouring down. So I want you to take some gentle deep breaths, and as you inhale, imagine yourself bringing in light, and as you exhale, you're exhaling out all and anything energy that's inside your body that no longer serves you. And imagine that energy going through the violet flame back to God, and you start filling up with light. And keep doing it till I tell you to stop. Inhale light and exhale energy that no longer serves you. And as you're doing that, I'm surrounding each and every one of you in your very own bubble of golden flame. I add to that the blue flame of protection, the violet flame of transmutation, the green flame of healing. And I seal you in the pink flame of love. We called all your teachers, guides, masters, and angels to join us and make this energy work as gentle, loving, and kind as we can. So take one more deep breath and exhale out everything left in your body that no longer serves you. And imagine that energy going through the violet flame and right back to God. And again, you fill up with your divine essence. And now I want you to imagine this incredible divine healing energy coming down from God and coming into your crown chakra at the top of your head. And as you feel it flow through your brain, feel every cell, atom, molecule in your brain reconnecting to the Creator. And now you're full of all this divine inspiration and new possibilities. And now let that energy flow out your third eye in the middle of your forehead. Now feel the energy flow down even farther. So now that energy comes out of your throat chakra. And now feel that energy flow down even farther. So it comes out of your heart chakra. And feel that energy flow even farther. So it now comes out of your solar plexus chakra. And now feel it flow down even farther so it comes out of your belly button chakra. And flowing down a little more and let it come out of your sacral chakra. And now allow it to flow out of your root chakra, which is at the base of your spine. And now feel all that energy flow all the way down your legs. Let it go out your feet and send it into the earth. And now let it flow down your arms and out your hands. And let it flow down your spine. And I want you to take one more deep breath. And this time as you exhale, feel everything that's left in your body that no longer serves you being released as you exhale. And then breathe normal. And as you're doing that, I called in Michael the Archangel to come forth and cut all ties to any energy you've taken on that's not yours. Whether it's from a friend, relative, acquaintance, stranger, anybody you work with, TV set, animal, whatever the karmic reason is that created anything out of balance in your life or your body today. And as all that unwanted energy is peeled off of you gently like an onion skin, it all goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to reptile, dinosaur energy, secret societies, organized religion. Cut all ties to any oaths, vows, curses, hexes, rituals that could have been done to you or your family. Going backwards and forwards, hundreds of thousands of generations, or anything you could have done, consciously or unconsciously. And as all that unwanted energy too is peeled off of you gently like an onion skin, it all goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to any effigies that have been misused against you, and that's any elemental of yours that was used to hurt you or anyone, including anything you own. Clothes, hair, picture, your name spoken, written, just thought of, or anything you have your energy on and as ties to all those elementals are cut. I call the violet flame through them to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. We fill it up with love and we command it to be neutral or only emit love. And now I want Michael to come forth, remove any energy implant that's been done to you or anything that could have carried over from any other lifetime because of dark magic, voodoo, or dark witchcraft. So I want the stick, pin, needle, or knife that's in your crown chakra removed from your third eye, your throat, heart, solar plexus, belly button, root, feet, hands, spine, your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hips, teeth, anywhere in your body that's out of balance. And as you feel all those pins, needles, and knives being very gently removed, imagine all those spaces immediately fill up with the violet flame to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. We release all that unwanted energy back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to patriarchy, genocide, rape, incest, slavery, prostitution, persecution, circumcision, removing any energy overlay that's trying to manipulate you, keeping you from connecting with God, healing yourself, being really successful, fulfilling all your divine missions and living your life in joy. And as all that unwanted energy is gently removed, it's keeping all these wonderful things from coming to you. We also send it through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. So if there's anybody out there that's directing any kind of dark energy at you, whether it's from voodoo, rituals, witchcraft, or even just dark thoughts, we're going to ask them to stop. Because if they're doing it to you, they are doing it to others. And we ask them to step forward in the light. And if they choose to continue doing their dark work, which is their free will, we ask their higher selves and their guardian angels to put them in a position of harmlessness. We surround them in a bubble of mirror. The mirror faces them. It's 2 inches from their nose. And as long as they do any of their dark work, that energy stays contained in the bubble of mirror. And that bubble of mirror stays up 24/7, 365 days a year until they do works of good. So what I want you to do now is I'm going to call to your higher self, and I'm going to ask your higher self to activate your divine blueprint for perfect health, the one that you created before you manifested into this incarnation, into this lifetime. And as it's activated, I'm going to ask your higher self to also draw to you any healing modality that you need that will help you improve or heal yourself, and that you're open to receiving new alternative medicine and ideas, or whatever's for your highest good. And now let all this energy integrate in a very gentle, kind, loving way with your cells, your atoms, your molecules, all your internal organs going all the way down into your DNA. And with every breath, feel more of yourself becoming centered back in body, very clear-headed. So what we're going to do is we're going to just start doing some light work now that you're in this very, very special high space. So I want you to imagine yourself in this huge stadium filled with all kinds of light workers, all of like-minded, all here for world enlightenment and to help the earth and humanity. And in the center of the stadium, we're going to put this huge crystal, my Earth Keeper, and she's going to expand until she's 10 tons, huge. And as you're breathing gently, in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine yourself holding hands with people that are on the right and the left of you. And I want you to feel yourself really hook up, your silver antenna go up from the top of your head and connect with the Creator and feel all this high energy just come pouring in from the top of your head and just filling your body. And now I want you to send this energy down your right arm, right hand into the person next to you. And see that energy, feel that energy go all the way around in the circles, because there's many, many circles within a circle, because there's so many people in the stadium. Each row has their own circle. And as this energy is flowing around to the right, we're going to call to Sai Baba, Shirdi Baba, Prima Sai Krishna, Jesus, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, all the gods and goddesses of light, past, present, and future, all the deities, the elemental kingdom, all the other groups out there that are doing light work, to add their energy into what we're doing tonight and amplify our work. Now send love and light to the left, and as the energy flows to the left, the circle is closed, so only that which is light may enter. We call to the trees and ask the trees to join us, and see the trees take this energy and send it into the earth through her roots and through her branches, send it out so humankind can feel it and react in a positive way. We call to all the crystals, rocks, stones, minerals, and all the earth keepers to lock into the earth keeper that's in the center of the stadium and amplify our work 100,000-fold. We call to all the grids, ley lines, meridians, domes, obelisks, pyramids, all the sacred and holy spots on the planet to lock into this light circle. And we ask, Mother, Father, God, that you guide us into doing not our will, but thy will be done. So release the hands and just sit straight up. Put the hands in your lap, and feel this energy now, again, come flowing through your body, and allow it to come out of your heart. And if you want it to flow down your arms, let it come out your hands. And we're going to direct it toward the center of the stadium, and we're going to create a bubble of light that's going to go over the big earth keepers. And in this bubble of light, we're going to put the power of prayer, cutting the Pentagon from all forward war movement and all money resources. So let there be light in the name of the presence of God, which I am, through the magnetic power of the sacred fire vested in me, I command. I call to Michael the Archangel to come forth and cut all ties to all satanic dark magic that is giving the war machine its funding to go forward. See all veils of protection being removed from all the Pentagon's works, projects, wars, secret ops, mercenaries, and all forward movement of any kind. We cut ties to all symbols they use to keep the war energy moving, including all Nazi symbols, the swastika, the Pentagon, and all domes and obelisks. We cut the ties to all secret societies, including the Skull and Bones, and all other secret organizations that are within and without the Pentagon that is giving the energy forward movement. See all their veils being removed and the Pentagon's energy being neutralized. We see all funding being pulled away from the Pentagon now. As this happens, the forward movement of war energy is stopped and being reversed. All our troops come home and given the proper health care needed to have a joyful life back in society. The Pentagon money is redirected to the welfare and care of the masses, as well as cleaning up the earth of all the damages they have created. I see this Pentagon money now going back into social programs, the elderly, alternative medicine, road repair, state projects, organic farming in schools, reparations to all countries we have harmed, just to name a few. We command all military of any rank higher than private to step forward in the light and work for peace. And if you choose not to, which is your free will, we ask your higher self and guardian angels to put you in a position of harmlessness. We now tie and bind all war hawks, including all that support them, like the Illuminati, the banksters, secret societies like the Skull and Bones, Jesuits, politicians, Nazis of the Third and Fourth Reich, all war profiteers, war lobbyists, mercenaries, including all weapons manufacturers. We again cut all ties to all brotherhood, military bonding to each other of rank. See all overlays being removed off each other so each of these beings can reconnect to the Creator to become awakened spiritual beings filled with peace. We neutralize all old thought patterns of war, gladiator mentality, might is right, and war is peace, with the violet flame replacing that energy with divine thoughts of kindness, compassion, peace, love. Let this new divine energy affect every cell, atom, molecule in their bodies, going all the way down into their DNA. As this happens, everyone is experiencing peace, kindness, and a new compassion for all life forms on earth. Then acts according as awakened spiritual beings, creating peace and brotherhood on the planet. We cut the ties to all Pentagon's war equipment that is hurting and harming the earth and all life forms, including all HARP-related equipment, scalar and communication equipment of all kinds, all lab facilities, all chemical warfare, everything connected to space programs, spyware, all computers, gathering and storing illegal information, all computers of war, as well as all other various weapons of war. We violet flame all these elementals, send forth the angel light energy to heal. We are now filling these misused elementals with so much love that they're now reconnected to the Creator. We command them to be neutral or only emit love. See all this equipment breaking down except for all the nuclear elementals, which need to work in harmony until we can shut them down. We see all their weather modification equipment breaking down, including all planes, helicopters, jets, and drones, in a way no one will be hurt or harmed. Cut the ties to all dark entities and astral beings from all dimensions and worlds the Pentagon uses to keep the energy of war alive. We now tie and bind all these dark entities, putting them through the violet flame to clean their energies up. Then we send them back to the Creator, filling that space with an angel of peace, healing, and a divine enlightenment. I call to the karmic board and ask if it's for their highest good. All these beings connected to the Pentagon receive their karmic return for what they have done to the planet and all life forms, as well as a karmic return of at least 100,000-fold. Then so be it. I stand aside as it's now returned. We ask that this energy work be applied to all high-ranking military personnel throughout the world, all countries, none excluded, all included. We cut ties to any satanic, voodoo, or dark witchcraft ceremonies done in the Pentagon building or surrounding grounds, also at the Bohemian Grove, to keep money flowing into wars and world domination. We anchor the violet flame to the center of these complexes, all corners of the buildings and grounds. See the flames expand, coming together to fill this area with a high, transmuting energy, negating all ceremonies, past, present, and future forever. For those in the Pentagon who are walking in the light of the Creator and working toward peace, the planet, and all life forms, let's send them a very high divine healing, energizing energy so they become in charge. We see them with lots of divine inspiration, overflowing them with lots of thoughts on how to become in charge in ways no one will be hurt or harmed when they go up the military ranks. Let the energy of peace, love, and divine enlightenment fill the Pentagon from this time forward. As always, not our will, but thy will be done. So fill it up with light and love, and let's take a deep breath and release it. So again, feel that energy flow down. In the center, we're going to form another bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, let's do one for the bees. In the name of the presence of God, which I am, through the magnetic power, the sacred fire vested in me, I command. I call to Michael the Archangel and ask that ties are cut between the bees and all microwave technology, that people become aware that microwave energy is causing the bee colonies to collapse. As they become aware, they choose to use their cell phones less, shutting them off completely when not in use, or going back to landlines, with the understanding that we need bees to pollinate over 40% of our crops. We surround all the hives in a protective energy shield that keeps out all microwave energy. We send energy to all bees and ask that their DMT is enhanced. As they are reconnected to the Creator, we see the bees becoming more focused and at one with each other as the queen bee is inspired to what she needs to do to hold on the colony together as one functional unit. We send a mild grounding energy to the bees so they become more centered, allowing each worker to do their jobs in harmony with each other. We violet flame all the propolis to clean it up, and as we reconnect this to the Creator, it acts as a protection and antibiotic for the bees, so they become healthier every time they come in contact with it in the hive. We ask Michael the Archangel to cut all ties to all mites the bees have that is making them ill. We violet flame these mites to clean up their energies, reconnecting them to the Creator. Now we command them to be neutral and die off, which allows the bees to become stronger and healthier. We ask that the bees are now inspired to go where there are no GMO crops, instead being guided to healthy plants and flowers. We see people now growing more organic herbal gardens for the bees that will enhance their immune systems. We see people being inspired to leave out fresh water for the bees and planting red and purple flowers that bees really enjoy the vibrations of. We call the higher selves of all beekeepers, asking that they now practice holistic beekeeping, leaving the bees with enough of their own supply of honey so they can also feed themselves with the fruits of their own labor, and not using pesticides on the bees to kill off the mites or any other health issues they have. Instead, growing healthier crops and giving the bees time and trusting that they will develop a natural immunity resistance over the multiple generations with their new organic farming methods that we are now asking the divine to inspire them with. We are now sending energy to the queen bee that will inspire her to hold the hive together in harmony. We are now sending energy to the bee's life force so they become healthy and multiply. Let's give thanks and send out much love to the bees for everything they've given us, our plant life and crops, including byproducts like beeswax for candles. All right, fill all that up with light and love, and let's take a deep breath and release it. So again, feel another bubble of light manifest in the center of the stadium over the big crystal. In this bubble of light, let's put the Mother Earth. And as she's rotating, let's send her some energy. And as we're sending energy into the earth, we're going to call the violet flame to just blaze through the earth to help her transmute any energy buildup that's on any laze lines, any fractures, fault lines, and see that energy just being gently released. And we call to the Mother Earth that when she has to move and groove, that she moves in ratchets, and she goes back and forth very gently, and she releases her energy that way. And again, let's send this very healing energy into the Mother Earth, into the grids, the ley lines, meridians, domes, obelisks, the pyramids, all the holy spots on the planet, and raise the energy up so high that light is anchored there, and people on the earth feel this light, and they start awakening. And as this energy goes through the earth, let it transmute all poisons, toxins, chemicals that's inside her that she's had to take on. And we're going to send a lot of energy. Let it go right into the very center of her. And let that energy now just bubble and get stronger. And see it expand in the earth. So the Mother Earth, no matter what happens, she can maintain her balance. And now let's send energy up through all the seas and all the waters, the oceans. And as it comes up through the ocean floor, let it regenerate all the plankton and all the little sea creatures, the krill. And let's send energy into all the coral reefs. And as we do that, we ask the Creator to put the spark of life into the coral reefs and see them coming back to life and see it just teeming with fish. And now let's send this very peaceful, calming white noise through the oceans and the seas and let it neutralize all sonar and all out of balance sound. And let's this energy go all the way up to that equipment so it breaks down that sonar equipment so it doesn't work, forcing the boats to go back. and in ways where no one was hurt or harmed. And as we send the energy through the water, let it recharge, regenerate, and neutralize all poisons, toxins, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, radiation, poisoning that's in the waters. And we're going to call the violet flame through all the waterways, the oceans, the seas, the rivers, lakes, streams, anything that's water. And this violet flame is going to become so strong, it's going to transmute that water back to pure, clean water, neutralizing all those poisons and all the toxins. And see it regenerate all the fish, all the sea life. And we're going to put real quick these huge bottles of pure, clean water, and I'm talking bottles of water that are like 10 miles big, 10 miles wide, 10 miles tall. Pure, clean water, and everything in these bottles of water is what sea creatures need to survive. And we're going to send the sea creatures into these huge bottles of water. And we're also going to call the water elemental to mirror these clean bottles of water and see the oceans coming back to life. And now let this energy go up the North and South Pole. And as the energy gets higher, it gets colder. And see the ice re-solidified. And anywhere where there's supposed to be snow on a mountain peak, let that mountain peak now magnetize those clouds that are heavenly laden with rain and let it snow. And it comes down as pure, clean water. And now let this energy come up from the Earth's surface and touch every man, woman, and child on the planet, touching their heart, going into their brains, closing the reptilian part of their brain, but activating their divine God brain. And we're going to ask that everyone be given their divine mission, their divine purposes, and everything they need to fulfill it. And filled with joy. And now see the light workers being so filled with light that they're now magnets for everything they need. Whether it's abundance, other people to work with, it's all being drawn, other groups to work with, and seeing all these groups put aside their egos and come together and share their resources. And as they do that, they become stronger and they move forward and they're successful in their missions. Send this energy up through all the plants, the trees, everything we eat, everything that grows. And let this energy be so strong it neutralizes all GMO foods and allows Mother Nature to become dominant on the planet once again. Send this energy into the animals. Let them recharge. Everything that flies, the insects, the bees, the birds. And now send this energy out even farther so it goes out into the air we breathe, and it neutralizes all those poisons. And as we send this healing energy, cleansing energy into the air, we're going to call to all those divine beings out in the cosmos, those galactic beings, and we're going to invite you all in, and we're going to ask you to do something with this radiation, clean up the air, show us what we need to do to close these reactors down, but mostly help us clean up the radiation and do something beneficial with it. And clean up the chemtrails in the sky and get those chemicals out. And now expand that energy so it goes into the ozone layer and see the ozone very, very solid. There are no more holes in the ozone. And now send it out even farther. So it goes into the satellite belt. And for all those satellites that are not being used for the purpose of humankind, see them becoming very magnetic. And so magnetic, they draw the space junk to them, knocks them out of orbit, so it doesn't work. And if they've got to come down, they come down in a place where no one will be hurt or harmed. Now expand this energy to all those other planets out there. And for all those other planets that are fighting the reptilians out there, we're putting out the call to you to come join us on Earth. Let's pool our resources together, everyone's knowledge, and combine our energies as one. And let's help the reptilians shift into the light. Or the Creator can put them in a position of harmlessness, their choice. And see everyone going into the light. Now in this bubble of light, put all the gods and goddesses, put all the deities, the angels, and see them recharge and regenerating. Now I want you to put yourself in this bubble of light and feel yourself recharge and regenerate. And your missions and your purposes moving forward in light and joy. And for those of you that have not found your twin divine mates yet, I'm going to ask that Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, removes all the obstacles that's keeping you both from coming together. And from your heart, feel energy go out wherever your divine mate, your twin flame is. Feel it find him or her and lock in. And now feel love flow between you, going back and forth. And whatever veils and overlays are around you that's keeping you both from coming together, I'm going to ask that the violet flame dissolve them and that you're drawn together. And when you find each other, when you come together, you recognize each other and you start doing your work in love and joy. All right, now fill everything up with light and love. And let's take a deep breath and release it. All right, let's do another quick bubble of light. And in the center of this bubble, let's put the military and all those that are in power, that are making the decisions. We ask you to step forward in the light and stop destroying the earth, the animals, and all life forms. And if you choose not to, we ask your higher self and the guardian angels put you in a position of harmlessness. We cut ties between you and your money sources and all veils of protection and all black magic that's keeping you protected and invisible. And as all that energy is removed, people see you. People start calling their Congress, their representatives, and they start complaining. The president, anybody that has authority. And we see the military being reined in and put in positions of harmlessness. And see all our boys coming home from all those countries out there, all those illegal wars. And let's put all the men and women in the military in this bubble, and let's remove all the veils and overlays that's keeping them from becoming conscious and seeing clearly that they're being used as patsies. And as they become conscious, they see everybody around them, no matter what country they are in, as family, friends, people they would work with, play with, and would not dare or dream of hurting or harming. And see these divine beings choosing not to hurt or harm. And the more they decide not to hurt or harm, the better they feel. And let them be guided to doing works of good instead, building instead of tearing down, helping instead of harming. And when they do that, that brings them really joy in their hearts. And for all those veterans that have come home, we ask their higher selves, guide them to whatever they need for moral support and for mental support. And let's remove all the energy veils of war that is around them so they can have normal functional lives and actually stand up against the war. And let's remove all veils and overlays around everyone, especially in the United States, that has anything to do with war. And instead, let it be replaced with this peaceful, enlightened energy. And as we put in all the people on the planet, including the reptilians, let's just chant, may divine enlightenment descend down around them now. May divine enlightenment descend around them now. May divine enlightenment descend down around them now. May divine enlightenment descend around them now. May divine enlightenment descend around them now. All right, let's fill this bubble of light up with light and love, and take a deep breath and release it. All right, we got to ground. So feel the earth energy now come up from the earth and come up your feet, your legs. And as that energy comes up through your feet and your legs, you're feeling very grounded, very back in body, very clear-headed, open to new possibilities. Obstacles are removed. You can see that which was hidden from you with clarity. And feel more of that earth energy come up your feet, your legs, and feel yourself becoming very grounded, very clear-headed, very back in body. And with every breath, feel more of yourself becoming grounded. Now, if you have hematite, this would be a really good time to go grab it. So you ground even more. You don't want to be lightheaded. It's a karmic thing. And if you can go outside and go hug a tree. Put your hands on the tree and send all your excess energy into the tree. And you only have to do this for, 30 seconds. And then you ask the tree to send you energy back. And she will. And you'll feel the energy. If you're sensitive, the energy around you will get very heavy. And boom, you're going to ground. Be back in body, be clear-headed, and calm. And after the show, if you want, a good thing is to eat. That will also help you ground. Or, taking a shower. That also helps you come back in body. Now, for those of you that may have forgotten, I haven't, we are in Mercury in retrograde, which means if it can go wrong, it will, it can, and you gotta go with the wind, okay? That means appointments may not want to come together, so you always have a backup for that appointment, then a backup for the backup. Communication problems, you will have to take extra effort in being very, very clear with people. And then it might get down to, what does one word mean to you? It might be different from what they think that word means. You don't want to start anything new during this time. No new business, no new relationships, because usually after Mercury goes direct, things fall apart. Now, there's always a pattern interrupt, but normally that's how it works. So you just want to stop, not really start anything new, but it's a time for completing things and taking care of things that you've been pushing aside and kind of usually going internally because everybody else is so screwed up that it's just easier to avoid everybody and, go within and not talk to people. Now, the fun thing is that it does call people, at least back into my life, that I haven't seen for a while, and normally I call them the retrograde crowd. So that's kind of a good thing. So just be on your toes when things don't really go well for you or feel like they're going that smoothly. Just remember, Mercury in retrograde can really screw it up. It's a challenging time, and it'll be like that till the end of the month. Woo! Yeah, bells and whistles. But if you understand why things can be a little bit tougher during this time period, then there's good possibility you won't get mad, which is the whole point. You don't want to get mad. You want to hold your own and not be really happy, but, if you put out negative energy, that's what you're going to get back, and you're giving darkness all kinds of stuff to feed from. So do your best to stay positive. And if you're not doing anything, start chanting. Divine energy descend down around everyone now. May divine energy descend down around everyone now. May divine energy descend down around everyone now. And go to the website at Enlightenment Movement 2016. at shutterfly.com and join. Give us energy. The more people that talk about enlightenment and put out that energy, the quicker it's going to happen. Everybody talks about it, but very few people are willing to make effort for enlightenment. It's not a big deal. Made it easy. Even if you just pray and keep your energy high, that is a big deal. Do random acts of kindness. Practice with the energy of love. And actually use that energy and see how it shifts people. Because when people usually go off and they're angry and upset, they're not connected to the Creator, because if they were, they would know better. And they need an energy boost, just like people that are very, very sick, their lack of energy. And they need an energy boost to heal themselves. You're not healing them, but you're giving them that dash of light, that big boost of light that they need to help their bodies heal or to reconnect to the Creator. Do a random act of kindness for somebody you don't know or somebody you do know. Smile. And talk about enlightenment. Michael Moore, putting out that petition against Rick Snyder. To me, that's enlightenment in action. I put out on my Facebook page, there's a picture of Vin Diesel, and he's standing, and above him are all these chemtrails. That is enlightenment in action, and it's people standing for what's right and saying, we're not going to close our eyes anymore. We see it. And it's got to end. You can't keep doing this to the earth anymore. And enough of us stick together. That's what solidarity is all about. And that's where chains come from. And helping each other and supporting each other. It's what the unions do, why they're strong when you have a good union and the government's not trying to bust you up. But when groups come together in unity, positive things happen, especially if they're standing for light. So I hope your week is very, very peaceful and filled with joy. And that Spirit brings you your heart's desire. And when you get it, you recognize it. And be thankful and grateful. And hug your kids. Hug your family. Call somebody up that you haven't talked to in a while and just say, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being my friend. Be a hero. How do you be a hero? Just do the right thing when the time comes. That's enlightenment in action. And I thank you so much for joining me tonight and putting out that energy work. It's so important. And talk about what the Navy is doing to the planet. Talk about what's happening to the Navajo, the Dene tribes, and actually all indigenous cultures need help. And on that note, I hope you have an awesome week, and aloha from Hawaii.